Morning. Welcome to another episode of Tie 2 for Sports. Tie 2 for Sports. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. You see it down at the bottom. Please donate to the Cash App, $TY Rebel 22, and follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at TY24 Sports. It'll be at the bottom ticker all show, so don't worry about being in a rush. So you see the title College Football Playoff Round 2. Yeah, this is round 2. So let's get to the picks. So I got Texas. I'm kind of tentative about that. You might want to do that as a single pick because Arizona State might show me something. You know, I kind of got them as an upset special. I don't think they're gonna win, but they will push. But just to be safe, I'm gonna go Texas minus 9.5. As far as the ticket, I think you're pretty good with Oregon with the upset over Ohio State. I'm not too impressed. Some people were, but I feel like Ohio State's gonna lose to Oregon again. You got UGA over Notre Dame. I don't know. They playing with a backup quarterback. We go see how they do against that defense, but I'm gonna stick with Georgia. Okay, on Thursday we got Duke going against Ole Miss. They have it as a 17-point game. I'm gonna go minus 10.5 for Ole Miss. Texas State versus North Texas. I'm riding with Texas State. I actually saw that with my own two eyes because I watched those Thursday night games when they faced Arizona State. That's actually going against Texas, and they gave them all they can handle. So I feel like minus 9.5 for Texas State. Now Virginia Tech, I'm going to go plus 10.5. They got Virginia Tech losing in the bowl game, which I don't think that's very smart. I think Kyron Jones, I'm not sure if he's going to hit the portal or not. They're saying that he's probably going to stay loyal to who's been loyal to him, which is Virginia Tech. We're going to see. But if I go on ESPN.com, it's a Saturday. No, it's a Friday night game at 7:30 on ESPN on Minnesota and Virginia Tech. So they got Minnesota minus 9. I'm going to go Virginia Tech plus 10.5. No, yeah, plus 10.5. And then on Saturday, we only got one Saturday game at 11 a.m. on ESPN2, Buffalo and Liberty. 8-3 and 8-4 teams. I got Liberty with the upset. Buffalo's favorite minus 2.5. I'm going Liberty money line. So that's going to be the college football picks. They'll be at the bottom. Now let's move on to the NBA, the National Basketball Association. So we got a full slate of basketball tonight. I got the Magic money line, the Bulls money line. Even though they had that brawl the other night and suspensions, I'm still gonna go with the Heat money line over the terrible New Orleans Pelicans. Then we got the Knicks money line. I got the Brooklyn Nets minus 1.5. I got Dallas plus 6.5, and then I got the Denver Nuggets against the Hawks minus 3.5. So that's gonna be my NBA picks. Now, for college basketball, we only got one game today. It's going to be UConn and DePaul. I'll make sure DePaul a little respect, and I'll go UConn minus 7.5. So that's going to be the picks. You know, I just rotate them throughout the show. But let's go to Instagram, as you see on my side, and let's see what's going on with Ashton Genty. So he was just 24 yards short of breaking Barry Sanders' record. 24 yards. So shout out to him for a great season, being a Heisman runner-up. He ran for 2,601 yards. Barry Sanders has the all-time record of 2,628 yards, and Barry did it in less games. That's the same thing with Saquon Barkley and Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson's record was, I believe, like a 14-game season, maybe 16 games, but I think it was still 14 games at that time. I'm not sure. I have to check. But let's see what the fans had to say about Ashton Genty. They said if Barry Sanders played in the Mountain West, he would have rushed for 3,000 yards. You guys got to stop with this conference talk. Like, a lot of y'all are novices and don't know football. First of all, that's why I kind of thought Boise State would give Penn State a run for their money, but Penn State has improved. Boise State was the first tough game for Oregon. Oregon only made it out of there by a field goal. Boise State played several ranked teams. I wish I could pull up their schedule. But y'all just be talking sometimes, man. I understand fans are fans. You don't argue with the fans. You know, customer's always right. But sometimes the customer, can get educated. You know what I mean? I don't want you to sound crazy when you're talking sports to people. And you seem like you're uninformed. So if we go to Boise State, I know you guys can't see it on the screen. I'm pulling it up in another window. Just give me a second. Boise State played Oregon. Who else did Boise State play? They played UNLV twice, beat them by 2 touchdowns, and then they beat them by 5 points. They played Oregon State. Who else did they play that was a pretty decent team? Okay, so not that many ranked teams, but they played a couple of teams. They so two UNLV games, Oregon State, San Diego State, pretty decent. Nevada, I know those aren't like a big Power Four school. They played Washington State. Okay, so you got Oregon, you got Washington State, you got UNLV twice, and then you got Oregon State. So that's about five pretty decent games. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that he played the same caliber of competition. What did Barry Sanders play in the Big Eight when he was at Oklahoma? Either Southwest Conference or the Big Eight. Those are old conferences that came together and made the Big 12, the original Big 12. It was, you had the Big Eight and you had the Southwest Conference. I'm not sure which one Oklahoma State was in. I think they were in the Big Eight. But long story short, uh, I think we should be happy for this dude. No, he's not Barry Sanders as we saw last night, but he's still a pretty good guy. It says Barry did it in 11 games in 1988. His bowl game stats didn't even count. Genty played 14 games. There's literally no argument at all. Okay, but we could just be happy for guys. It's always Travis Button. Okay, so we just got a lot of negativity in the fans. I hope you guys, get over that in the new year, man. We got to stop hating for the 99 and the 2000. We as Juvenile would say, we got to stop hating. So it says Ashton Genty heads to the sideline for one last time in college football. So I guess he walked off the field once they knew he wasn't going to be part of advancing to the third round. Because as you guys know, Penn State defeated Boise State. This is some of the highlights. Drew Allen has been really surprising me. I don't know if he plans on coming back or going to the pros. I'm not sure about his eligibility, but he's improved since that USC game mid-season. That's why we can't always judge people by one game, because Penn State has thus far, even in the Big Ten championship against Oregon, they've been showing that they're a formidable opponent. People said that in the last 10 years, if this 12-team playoff would have existed, Penn State would have made it every year. They've always been a top 10, top 8 team. They just haven't been a top 4. Okay, now this is the third highlight. Drew Allen was really just lighting it up. I'm not sure if it's the competition, but Boise State has played well in BCS bowl games, in a New Year's Six bowl game. So it's not like this is out of their element, But for whatever reason, man, last night, because you saw Boise State actually came back in the third quarter and it was 17-14, but Penn State just been airing it out. And this was supposed to be like kind of a weakness. They were more of a tight end and type of team, but it seems like they're showing a little bit more promise, you know. So with that being said, it's just going to be interesting to see how things go on for the rest of these second round games as we advance to the third round and then finally to the national championship. And then also, by the way, you guys got to look out if you're a real college football fan and not just following the hype. They're going to have the FCS, which is basically Division 1 AA or Division – well, I won't call it Division 2 because it's still considered Division 1. You got Division 1 and then Division 1 AA. But a lot of these guys have beat Division 1 schools. But you got Montana State 15-0 going against North Dakota State that's won several national championships over the last decade or so. So Montana State, the old powerhouse, they're coming back. Montana and Montana State, if you guys know, I spoke about that on the older show. They were a powerhouse in the past. Basically, they're gonna be facing off on Monday night at 7:00 on ESPN. So I guess it won't be any Monday Night Football. It'll be the FCS National Championship. So that's a dope spot for them to have Monday night game prime time for the FCS. These basically might as well be two D1 teams because they're the top of the top creme de la creme of FCS. And some of these guys go to the league. Carson Wentz, what's the guy named Trey? I can't think of his last name from the Dallas Cowboys. I know he didn't turn out well, but he was a first round pick, a top 5 pick, just based off his physical attributes. Trey Lance, and then you got the wide receiver Watkins from the Packers. You got Joe Flacco, Tony Romo. There's been a lot of guys. Kurt Warner that played 1 AA, and they played well, So it's not to be slept on. But look, to move forward, Also, breaking news: it says that Arizona State and Kenny Dillingham have agreed to a 5-year contract. But we know these contracts don't mean anything because they buy out all the time. It says good coach, but I think this was a Cinderella year. Scatterboo carried the entire team. Scatterboo doesn't play defense, sir. I don't know what you're talking about. It says well earned. This guy is special. And it says before the game is crazy. So I guess they feel like he should beat Texas before he gets a contract extension. Um, that's just the first half stats. Okay, so this is from the Cheez It Bowl. We already saw that with Miami. And no, I'm sorry. Cheez It Bowl was Illinois and South Carolina, where the coaches they pretended they was gonna fight because they ain't no acting like you're gonna fight. Either you fight or you don't. But the coaches kind of got into it. It was some bad calls. It was taunting going on. Illinois was really trying to show that the Big Ten can compete with the SEC. South Carolina was out there, they was fighting their heart out. I don't want to hear nothing about, they wasn't trying to win. South Carolina was trying to win. You could tell. They was arguing, fighting. They wanted to win that game. It's just somebody had to be a loser. This was a good game. I mean, I don't know how much of a fan you are to watch old games, but I would go on YouTube and they got the extended highlight. It's about 20 minutes. This is what holidays are about. These New Year's and New Year's Eve bowls. I wish they would have had some more bowls than just the playoffs on New Year's Day, but it's all right. We got 3 games today, and we got some basketball. But yeah, Illinois came out on top. So shout out to Illinois. Then this was another big one. You had Baylor and LSU. LSU looking good for next year. They got Nussmeier coming back. They also have a defensive player. He actually got hurt. I think number 40. They've been recruiting heavy instead of just the coaches. They've been recruiting and handpicking the guys they want out the transfer portal because they're looking to make a push next year as far as in the SEC. They beat 8-4 Baylor. Now Baylor's 8-5, and LSU was 9-4 on the year, so a 9-win season again for Brian Kelly. That's 3 years in a row. He had 2 10-win seasons, and now a third 9-win season. And LSU, they just really looking like a place that is coming together, man. It's a lot of competition. Of course, they're gonna have to face off with Florida and Lagway. They have to face off with I'm not sure they face Ole Miss again next year. They got Alabama every year, so it's always tough. But LSU is really showing out, man. They showing like they finishing. And this is how you're supposed to finish the season. When you look at a lot of teams that end up going into the playoffs or going to national championships, just having good seasons, they end well. A lot of people saying these bowl games don't count. If you give a losing performance, it's gonna carry on through the offseason. Trust me, I've been there. I played. You don't want to get used to losing because it's a habit. It's a habit. You know what I mean? Like human beings are habits. That's why we practice. If you could just turn it on and off, then people wouldn't practice. You know what I mean? That's why the NFL has preseason. And quitters, and just laying down, that's just not a good thing to do. Then we got a 1-point game between Washington and Louisville, where Washington went for 2, I believe, in the end, because they didn't want to go to overtime. Not a smart move, man. It's the last game of the year. I don't agree with this going for 2 thing. I think you go for 2 if your team just ran out of gas and you think you can't win in overtime. But to just risk everything on a less than 50% chance, because I think most 2-point conversions are not successful. It's hard to score on the goal line in a one-shot play. You done fought all the way back from behind to almost tie the game. Just go to overtime, baby. If you feel like you can win, then go to overtime. Your defense get a stop and your offense get a score. But to put everything, I just don't believe in that. All this analytics, this, that, and the third, I don't agree with that. Will Campbell, LSU. So LSU again, he says a D lineman gets 1 sack a game, he'll be a top 5 pick. You give up 1 sack in a game for 12 games, and you're gonna work at Amazon. So I guess he's basically saying that it's harder to be an offensive lineman than a defensive lineman, which might be true. They in the comments saying as an Amazon employee, I'm gonna let this one slide. That's funny. Now I like that comment. He's showing a little sense of humor. Somebody else says, "Well, put my fries in the bag, bro." Why are you eating fries? That's not healthy, baby. That ain't healthy. You need to eat some salad or something. It says that Louisiana accent, and they laugh and cry in tears. Then it says, I can hear it in his voice. He'll be coaching once his playing career is over. So, a lot of the offensive linemen end up coaching, you know what I mean? That's a common thing. Quarterbacks, offensive linemen, they a lot of times get in them coaching ranks. Okay, for all you Roll Tide fans, bad news. You end another bowl season losing to Michigan. So people saying bowls don't count. It do for Michigan, and for that transfer portal, they gonna be able to have something to sell those transfers. With a walk-on quarterback and a quarterback that can't really throw, they beat Alabama and Ohio State, which is part of why I'm picking Oregon. Michigan spent $8.5 million over 4 years, so it's really like $2 million a year on Bryce Underwood. Then they brought in the transfer from I think Fresno State because Fresno gave him a hard game earlier, and that's smart. I like guys that go get transfers that almost beat you. I beat you. Go, hey, can't beat them, then join them. Make them join you. So that's a smart move getting that quarterback from Fresno. But Michigan is a dangerous team for next year. Michigan might be one of my top 3 picks for the Big Ten next year. I'm not gonna say they're gonna win it because Oregon's always out there, but Michigan is dangerous. Okay, Penn State's coach says, oh no, this is Greg McElroy. I'm sorry. He says, I think the amount of pressure that James Franklin is under is significantly. I'm sorry. I'm gonna start over. I think the amount of pressure that James Franklin is under is significantly higher than that of Ryan Day. I don't know what was going on with significant. I don't know if I got to cat in my throat or I don't know what that was, man. But that's crazy. He is 3-4. It says as a head coach against top 10 teams in the AP poll. Oh, they be making up these stats, man. Either you winning or you not. All that about top 10 teams and this, that, and the third, man. They be coming up with all these concepts, man. Man, just play the game, Playboy. Okay, and we're gonna end the show on this. So Louisville, a lot of people say Louisville don't play no defense. They play some defense because pick 6 to the crib. No shout out to no Louisville. So they looking good going into next year, similar to LSU. So Florida State, Miami, Syracuse, watch out. Clemson, watch out. But that's gonna be my show for the day. Like, share, and subscribe. Please tell your mama, tell your friends, tell your next door neighbors. Ty24 Sports. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Also, please donate to the Cash App down at the bottom. $ TY Rebel 22. Here goes the NBA picks once again. So we got Magic, Bulls, Heat, Knicks, Nets, Mavericks, and Nuggets. And then with the college basketball, we got UConn, baby. We got UConn -7.5. That's gonna be the show. Happy New Year.